Good evening, my Rosalinds and Rosikins. Mother is back. And in this video, we're going to talk about why men envy the pretty girl slash exoticals slash Rosalinds. Okay? So, number one, we have female privilege. Okay? When I think of female privilege, I think of being someone that doesn't have to be strong and someone who's able to garner sympathy. Do you realize just how much men envy women in general? You don't even have to be pretty to be envied by men, but in this case, we're going to talk about it because this is a whole different layer, right? Of womanhood when you're pretty and a woman. But overall, when you look at society, even the patriarchy in its core, there's a lot of envy and resentment that men have towards women simply because we have different roles to play within society and because men are different from women. Our highs are different, our lows are different, our privileges are different. To have the privilege of being a woman in general, hashtag a female, is that you are not deemed as a threat as much as a man is. Now, you can use this to work in your favor, even though a lot of times it works not the best way in a woman's favor because that means that she's seen as easy prey, but you also can be an easier manipulator as well, right? Um, Men seem to give women a pass a lot of times compared to other men who they will, I strongly believe, will look down on if they are weak or at a certain place in life. But a woman, all she has to do is simply exist and, cry a little and state her case. And, people are willing to listen. Women can be vulnerable with their emotions and are still held to a high esteem, men not so much. A lot is held against a man in a man's world, mostly from their own doing, but still, the standard is there for men that is different for the standard that women have to carry. Now, I'm not saying that either sex has it easy or either sex has it hard. Duh. But what I am saying is that our plights as men and women in society are completely different. And a lot of men notice that. And so they will hate on the pretty girl, the exotical, the Roslyn, because they understand that not only are you enticing, but you are a woman and women live in a different world. Okay, number two, we can level up easily. Okay, so the criteria to level up is very minimum when you think about it for a woman. For us, it's being skinny, being pretty. And yes, these are very much so vain ways to look at it, but it comes down to the fact that the better you look, the more attention you attract, the more doors open, the more high caliber men you have access to. Now, this is not even counting the intelligence we possess as women. This is not counting the fact that, as an exotical, you will have a lot of different privileges that you can use to the best of your ability, depending on your background, your cultural background, your mixtures, your admixture, your family upbringing, your socioeconomic status. Like, there is so many things that you can elevate and also just use from what you were born with as that exotical in order to get ahead. And men notice this. Some men, they really they notice the fact that, oh my god, all she has to do is put on a skirt, a cute top, and some heels, and be her pretty self, and all the doors fly open for her. But me, I gotta hustle, I gotta make something of myself, or else I'm never going to get access to America's Next Top Model or a certain type of woman of a certain type of caliber or a certain type of looks because, I need to get my bag up. Like, men understand and resent the fact that they do have to put in the work. And nowadays, it's not enough to just have the money. You also have to have the health to go with it. I'm not going to say looks per se because, I do believe that, as a woman, you want something nice to look at, and that, with any partner, you should be attracted to each other. However, I feel like the biggest thing for men is health because, as we know from a lot of research and just life experience, and other exoticals also sharing their views on men, and the way that we decenter them is that a lot of men do hit the wall, right? A lot of men do hit the wall. And, And I can say this, it's not even just men, it's men and women. They do hit the wall when they don't take care of themselves, period. If you take care of yourself, you will never hit that wall. Okay, you're going to age gracefully at the maximum, but you're not going to be looking like who done it and why, you know what I'm saying? But for me personally, I believe that when you're pretty and you preserve your beauty and you elevate it over time, you don't even decline, you elevate that beauty over time. It's just a different life you live. And so you're looking for a man that can do the same, that has the resources, that has the health, you know, and saying a fit body, which means that, that usually means they would have a handsome face because they are fit. Like I said, health equals beauty. Health also equals handsomeness. The more healthier you are, the more you radiate beautifully and handsomely, right? So that's the truth. And so they see that, for us women, us exoticals, it's just a different life that we live when it comes down to progressing in the world. Number three, we have power and access to successful men. Some of these men hate that we have access to successful men by being pretty and skinny. Meanwhile, they cannot be in his entourage. So do you notice that? I see a lot of groupie men hating on beautiful exoticals because, you know, they don't have the same pull that we have when it comes down to men in higher positions, and celebrity men, men who are high income earners, or they just have the clout of being intelligent, being successful, good head on his shoulders, having the network capabilities, because they're not us, you know what I'm saying? And they wish that they could swipe us out or switch us out with them, because they want to be able to say, hey, that's my bro, that dude over there making millions or making six figures a year, ain't got no baby mama drama, high caliber type of man, that's my bro. They want to be able to say that with their chest out, right? Or to be part of someone that his riches or his privilege or his success trickles down to. They want to be able to either like be him with us or to be around him like we're around him, right? And some of these men do be on the down low. Like they want yo man, right? They want that man that wants you as an exotical. They're closeted in that way. I'm not saying all, I'm saying some are, where they wish and resent the fact that they weren't born a woman, a pretty woman at that. They weren't born an exotical. And so they're going to get in their feelings and say, why her, not me? Type of hating ass, pulling a Damien from Mean Girls. She's gonna go here type of energy. Number four, they can't marry into wealth like we can. I'm going to keep mentioning this because it's a total flex. I mean, when I sat down and really thought about what us exoticals have access to and have the ability to do when we lock in and go full throttle with our privileges and own up to everything we are and work on what we aren't that we might want to become, the world opens up to us, right? Pretty, skinny, and building wealth. You have the world at your oyster as a woman, and especially if you're child free. And like I said before, no diss to mothers out there, but I understand that it's easier to do these things, to take these chances because you don't have a little one, you know, that you're responsible for. Because I guarantee you, if I was a mother, I would be moving differently, you know what I'm saying? But because I'm a child free woman, I'm someone who feels that, I can choose to tolerate what I want to tolerate, X out what I want to X out. Like certain shit, I'm just not going to deal with. I'm not going to put myself through with men because I don't have to. Like I'm not the baby mama of anybody. I'm not the mother. I'm not the mother of someone's kids. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a baby daddy. I don't have. Although I would never be a baby mama, never have a baby daddy, even if I did have kids. Knowing me, but that doesn't mean that your marriage can end or someone can't deceive you, etc., etc., etc. Right? But I don't have a father of my kids to take into consideration. If someone pisses me off, dropped, just like that, no attachment. So, and being able to move in certain circles as a exotical, men envy you for that because they wish that they can just get with a woman that has all that money and be taken care of and be a luxurious housewife, a luxurious stay-at-home mom, etc., etc., etc. But they can't, because most women that have that money, that have the assets, they're hypergamous. They want men that do better than them. And so men who are not on that level, they just can't relate. And so they resent the pretty girl, the exotical, the Rosalind, because they can't do what we do. Number five, whether single or married, being a mother or child free, we have value despite what they say to bash our different choices of how we conduct our womanhood. Now, I know there's this big, battle between child free and mothers, single and married women, but it's all bullshit because in the day, whether you're single, married, child free, a mother, we serving. Okay, we serving out here. And so since we serving as women, as beautiful exoticals, we don't have to like no, we don't have to try to prove our worth. And I'm learning this more and more because it's a lot of conditioning, a lot of mental conditioning to make us feel irrelevant as women. You know what I'm saying? In general, because we have been taught by the patriarchy that if you're not a mother, you're invaluable. If you're child free, you're wasting your womb. If you're married, that is the place to be. If you're single, you're a cat lady. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so much that they try to push down our throats that we have to prove ourselves in every stage of our womanhood. From the first time we get our cycles. Oh, you have to prove that, you can be responsible with, giving men access that don't deserve you to your body, and then potentially getting pregnant now, becoming a single mother now because the relationship didn't work and he got tired and didn't want to be a father and didn't want you or the child. And now you're here like Bobo the fool. And now they're trying to tell you that you're worthless. No. A lot of us have dealt with, feeling that guilt, feeling that like you one up the next woman because you're not in certain circumstances. What I'm realizing, honey, is that life will humble you internally when you think that you're better than. And you never want to play yourself, especially as a beautiful exotical, to thinking that you're above another woman because of her circumstance. What I will say is that I believe that I chose the path with my womanhood that's best for me. And I stand 10 toes down in that. I'm proud of myself for that. But I can't sit here and look down on a mother because there was a time I wanted to be a mother. There was a time that I wanted that, right? And a husband, kids, etc. I mean, like I told you, I still want my husband, but I don't want to be a mother. I don't think that I'm meant to mother in that way. But it took me going through trial and error and not getting what I thought I wanted at a very young age in order to come to this. And for all you beautiful ladies out there that are mothers, that are married, that are child free, that are single, I love you. And I want to tell you, my Rosalynds, that whatever decision you choose to make with your womanhood, it is up to you. And I'm sorry if you've made decisions early on thinking that this was best for you, but realizing that this is not where you wanted to be with your womanhood. But now you have to, put your grown woman panties on and do what you got to do. But I want to say that you are not a waste. You are not some lost thing. You are not some deserted thing. You have value. You are born with worth. You are a worthy queen. And all you got to do is remember who you are. And that's what my channel is about, reminding you who you are, because there are men that are so envious of us pretty girls that they would tear us down in any um in any way that we choose to conduct our womanhood, whether we're single, married, child free, or a mother. There's always somebody got to fucking say about us. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I just say, like, miss us all with it, right? All you can do is live and level up yourself in whatever type of womanhood area and lifestyle you choose to have. Number six, we are wanted and pursued more than men are. This is a great reason why we're very envied by some men. A woman is always wanted, no matter her age. I'm gonna say it again. A woman is always wanted, no matter her age, for her femininity, because we bring life and beauty in all stages of life, and at all stages of our own life. And men try to convince us that women have no place, that we are just here, we're wasting away, that we don't bring value, that we are this, we're that because we're 30 and above, whatever. I'm 27 and I'm proud, okay? That means I survived 27 years of this bullshit, okay? And I have grown a lot. And who's gonna at me? And when I'm 37, I'll say it with my chest. When I'm 47, I'll say it with my chest. When I'm 67, I'll say it with my chest. Okay? That's called the blessing of living. Okay, you would be a damn fool to try to put somebody down for that. You know what I'm saying? Because that means that you have been elevated to the next year, the next level of your life force, right? And so for me, it's getting out of that mindset as well, because men will try to do this to us all the time. Because my thing is that men get older too. The beauty, let me tell you something. You know how you finesse aging? You continue to preserve your vitality. You continue to preserve your beauty and your health, okay? And your masculinity if you're a man, your femininity if you're a woman. You continue to preserve these attributes, these blessings from Yah himself in regards to you personally, and you elevate it over time. That's how you say fuck aging. That's how you stand 10 toes down when you're 77, but you're looking 57, okay? Because you are understanding how to, as you can say, what is the word I'm looking for? Oh my God, I forgot the word transmute. There we go. You learn how to transmute that energy and to not be a victim of time, but be a student, right? Where you have gained value, okay? And that is not to say that there aren't different times in life for more, than likely different stages, right? So, like you don't want to be having kids when you're like 50 or something. But there are people who do, people who even adopt. My parents adopted me and my sibling when we were, when they were in their 50s. So that's what I'm saying. Like for me, life is what you make it, one. But also, there are different stages within your life where certain milestones you might want to reach. And there's nothing wrong with that. But don't let nobody try to trick you out of your position, okay, my Roslyn's? You're beautiful and you're a woman. The fuck? Girl, bye. You got all the choices in the world. I'm not going to stop saying it. And men who are heterosexual will appreciate a woman no matter how old she is, okay? But if they play for the other team, as in the same team, if they're more Deadpool than Wolverine, I understand why they're trying to clock an age when a woman looks fine regardless. Okay? Clock it. Clock the tea I'm spilling, the shade I'm throwing, okay? So number 7, we are born with value. You know how they say, like, women are born with value, men have to gain theirs through the money and the assets they acquire? It's true. Women, we naturally are seen as very valuable because we are able to bring life and because of our femininity. You know what I'm saying? We bring the balance that the masculine energy needs. And anyone who tries to disagree is delusional or just doesn't understand how nature works. And men have to prove they're valuable. They have to prove they're deserving of a mate. Right? What did Yah say? It's not good for man to be alone, which means that we're a good thing. So he to find a wife, find a good thing. Anytime I see the Bible referring to women, there is something good about us being said. I can't say the same with men, but I can definitely say the same with women. So that being said, like, no, don't let the what? Yeah, they try to play that card. We are valuable, baby. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to deal with the slum of the earth to prove that you're of substance. Some men like to put women through tests. Like, oh, like if I asked her for money, would she give it? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna let you know right now I wouldn't. I'm sorry. I don't understand. Why are you asking me for money? Why are you not holding yourself down? Yes, when I ask for money, it's different. It's a double standard. I'm gonna tell you right now, since we all love double standards, especially the patriarchy. Yeah, it's a double standard. Just like when a woman sleeping around, it's a double standard versus a man sleeping around. Let's go there. So it's a double standard when a man asking for money versus a woman. Okay. One is deserving of it just by nature itself because she is made to be provided for, and then one is made to do the providing. So if the person's one job was to be a provider in this context, and they couldn't do that, but if they ask the one that's made to be provided for money, of course I'm going to look at you sideways because I'm going to say, what is your role then? What use are you then? Just like you feel that a woman needs to be beautiful in order to get the attention that she might be longing for, the adoration she's longing for, the respect she's longing for, I'm going to keep that same energy with men. Don't let these men play with you. And so that being said, I understand and appreciate men. I do. But if we're going to go there, we're going to go there, right? We're going to talk about real shit here, okay? And that's why they are jealous, some of them, of the pretty girl, of the exotical, of the Rosalind. Number 8. Oh, this is number 8. We are, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay. So we are damsels, not victims, and not bums. So when a woman is needing help, she is not a bum. She's not viewed as that. She's not even viewed as a victim. And, I keep saying woman, but specifically in this case, I'm going to say the exotical. When she is needing help, she's a damsel. You know how we always get princess treatment as exoticals? Well, men resent that because they want to be weak sometimes, because they're human, which I get it. They want to be able to cry on someone's shoulder, to let somebody else handle it, to be the little person, not the bigger person. I totally get it. It's hard. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Amen. So I get it. When a masculine man is in his role, it can get weary. I get it. But you see, us exoticals, we don't have those issues. We don't have those issues. We just don't. Because when we get weary, someone's about to pick us up and save us. And I'm going to always be prideful about that shit because it's my life. And just like it's any pretty girl's life, just ask around. Ask a pretty girl. She'll tell you. Okay? Now, whether we accept that help or too prideful to accept it or whatever, or open our mouth or don't, that's on us as pretty girls. But it's always going to be there for us, one shape, one way or another. No matter how old we get, as long as we are pretty and fine, honey, the world is still our oyster. Because when you're pretty and fine and healthy, people have a hard time guessing your age anyway. So the only reason that anyone can age shame us is when we open our mouth and tell you our age. But even after you do that, we wouldn't care because we still look fine. So that's my thing though. Like when we need help, people are there to help us. It's no question, men and women, even children, even animals, okay? Like Snow White singing to, and Cinderella and them singing to like the forest creatures. Yeah, we got that effect. What's good? So so yeah, I just wanted to add that because it's true. So these are some of the reasons, my beautiful Rosalynds, as to why men may envy the pretty girl or do envy the pretty girl. Some men do. And I want you to remember these things because you will try to be gaslit out of your position, out of your power, out of your value. Because these men, some of them don't really care for you because of all these different things and more. I mean, I'm sure I didn't name every single reason why, but I named the gist of what I could think of personally and what I've dealt with or what I've seen and observed for myself, right? But I'm sure there'll be more videos speaking on this topic in the future because we talk about women envying the pretty girl, but what about the men that envy the pretty girl? That's a real topic too. Okay, and with that, I'm just gonna say ciao. I love you, my Roslins and Rosigans.